start things off, as we normally do, with Alabama A&M head football coach Anthony Jones. Coach Jones and Alabama A&M fell short to Jackson State 26-20. And this week they'll play host to Arkansas Pine Bluff at 1 p.m. Good morning, Coach Jones. Are you with us?
I am. Excuse me, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about your game against Jackson and preview Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Jackson State and Southern for accomplishing the goals that we all want to accomplish as representing their respective conferences in the championship game. Best of luck to both of them. Two fine programs, two fine coaches. As far as the game was concerned, we got off pretty good to a good start. We knew they were a football team that could win, whether they be trailing or whether they are leading. So we wanted to get an opportunity to jump out on top of them. We did, and I think we went up 13-0. We had some other opportunities to score some touchdowns, but we settled for field goals and missed a easy field goal attempt, and that really hurt our momentum. Then they came storming back, got a few plays, and tied it up at halftime. We did some good things on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, but they're playing the best in the conference right now, and so Coach Comagese and his team came back, and I think they scored 26 unanswered points. We got a touchdown late in the game to bring it 20-26, and that's how it ended. But it was a good football game. I thought both teams played hard and played well. Of course, they were the better team that particular day, and so, again, congratulations to them. Next week, we go up against Arkansas Pine Bluff. We know what they are about, the kind of athletes they have there, coaches. They're having an off year, but they're still explosive offensively, still make things happen defensively. And Coach Coleman will have them ready to play, as he did the last couple of weeks. And, they're probably a couple of plays away from having a much better record and having an opportunity to represent the West. But it's been that kind of year for both programs, and so we'll get ready for them, get ready for a real good football game, a real good football team to come in here and finish out our home season at home against Pine Bluff. That's pretty much it.
Thank you very much, Coach. The floor is now open for Alabama A&M head football coach Anthony Jones.
Coach, I see Morrell, Pine Bluff commercial. You're catching UAPB on a 2-game winning streak. Where do you see that UAPB has played better that concerns you the most?
Well, they've always had the potential of being explosive, and they've been explosive all year. They just lost a couple of games, by a couple of points, by a play here, play there. I think they lost Alabama State by 1. They lost Alcorn by 5. It's been like that pretty much a year. Play here, play there. And now they're making those plays, and that makes them, very dangerous. Well, they've been very dangerous. They got the reigning offensive player of the year. They're defending champions. So, they know how to win. It's just they've been missing a play here and missing a play there. So they'll be well coached. They'll come in here and play us hard. And we just got to be ready for a good football team.
And, you've seen Ben Anderson the last 2 years, and so I'm pretty sure, and you've been successful against him the last 2 years, so I'm pretty sure you have an idea of how to contain him.
I don't know about all that. We made some plays against him. He made some plays against us, and, last year it was a real tight ball game. It's, again, one of those games that a play here, a play there will turn it either way, and we were fortunate last year to come away with a victory, but they also were defending champions. So they know how to win. They last couple of years we've been playing each other very, very tight, very close. So again, a play here, a play there, and the outcome of the game is completely different. So This year, I expect no different. They're going to come in here really fired up to play their last game on the road, I think. Well, come here and play us, I should say. And, we got to be ready for them. They're a good football team. They really are. Have a lot of talent, well coached. They have the taste of victory from last year, and they want, and they want to, and of course they're winning a couple of games in a row this year. So they'll come in here ready to play. You don't have to worry about that. Coach Coleman have them ready to play.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Still taking questions for Coach Anthony Jones, Alabama A&M.
Coach, I see again. Can you just talk about the parity this year in the SWAC? It seems like there's been greater parity than it was last year.
I think every year it gets a little tighter in that respect. I think you look at a lot of the games throughout this conference. Just take us in Jackson this past week. We're separated by a touchdown. We're separated by a couple of plays here. They're making the plays. We didn't make the plays that were necessary to win the football game, and that's what it's been. Jackson's been, they're undefeated in conference play, but they've been challenged a lot. And again, I'm not taking anything from Coach Comegy. He has done an outstanding job, but there's parity involved here, and what he has done. He has put his kids in a position to make plays, and they have responded, and they have made the play that was necessary, or plays that was necessary to get them over the hump, and Saturday was no exception. But, you look at the scores, and, teams are knocking each other off and things of that sort, and then you look at the scores, and you're saying, wow, one play here, one play there, and this score changes. So, it states to the number of quality coaches that we have in our conference.
Gotcha.
Do you have any more questions for Anthony Jones, head coach at Alabama A&M?
Right.
Coach, talk about the start of the season and comparing in to the end of it, how you guys have finished the season.
Well, what we're doing towards the end of the season is what I was hoping we would do at the beginning of the season. We're starting to grow from the mistakes that we made, and when you can grow from that, you give yourself a chance to win football games, and that's what we've done these last couple of ball games. We've given ourselves a chance to win, and that's what you want. The next progression in that step will be now to make those plays, and guys start to see what it takes to give themselves a chance. Now they'll be working at it and trying to improve upon that. So, we started the season young at almost every position, particularly on the offensive side, and that was their first time stepping out there in a college football field playing a game. So, we had to do a lot of growing up, and we're doing it. But of course, it's too little, too late for this year.
All right, Coach. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking with you next week on our last call of the season.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Coach Anthony Jones, Alabama A&M head football coach. Again, Alabama A&M this week plays host to Arkansas at Pine Bluff. 1 p.m. is the kickoff time. Next up on the call, we have Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow. ASU suffered a loss to Southern University by a final score of 31-28. They'll travel to Mississippi Valley this week for a 1 p.m. kick. Good morning, Coach Barlow. Are you with us?
I am.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about your battle with Southern and preview Mississippi Valley.
Yeah, the game against Southern was a really good game. They were, of course, we knew they had clinched the West, and it was an opportunity for our guys to see how we would measure up against a really good Southern team. We got off to a really good start, scored 21 points. We had them 21-7, and we punted the ball there right before the half. They got a great return by Virgil Williams, who we know is an exciting player, and got it in good field position for them. They were able to get a touchdown out of that, gave them a little more momentum going in the second half, scored 21-14. We came back out, and, of course, we knew Southern had an explosive offense. Those receivers there, they're really good. The quarterback is good, and the O-line did a good job protecting. So they had big plays. I mean, that's really what it came down to. I think the one receiver kid, Singleton, I think is his name, had 211 or something. So had a big day, and we just couldn't stop him. But all in all, our guys fought back. We were able to tie it up there with a Isaiah Crowell run for a touchdown, and then we kick it off, and we let the guy get out. And, of course, it was a great return by him. Their team did a great job of blocking on that return and, set up good field position for them, and they got the victory. They deserved it. It seemed like they won a little bit more than our guys did, or our coaches and our guys did. So we'll live with it. Really, from a penalty standpoint, I mean, both teams, we had 31 penalties for 306 yards, and I don't know. It's just really frustrating to have that many penalties, and hopefully we can do something about it. This week we're going to play Valley, another opportunity to, play our final game in a conference play. Obviously, we've only lost 2 in the conference so far, so we want to keep it like that. But we know it'll be a challenge. Valley got some explosive receivers as well. Return guy who's really good, and their defense have always been really good. So should be a fun time, fun game to be a part of, and we'll go down here and see can we get a victory.
All right, the floor is now open for Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow.
Coach, what was Southern doing defensively that kind of, did in the second half? Y'all put up 21 in the first half, didn't really score for the last 2 minutes of the game. What were they doing defensively in the second half different from the first?
Well, their D-line was very active. Those D-end guys, they're really good pass rushers. They started doing a little slanting inside with the D tackles that I think gave us some problems up front. And I just think their guys were playing a little bit faster. The D-line was playing a little bit faster and more combative than our offensive line was playing. We couldn't get a push at all in the running game, and which we've been able to run it pretty good all season, but their guys did a good job of preventing us from doing that. Yep.
Still taking questions for Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow. Coach, what kind of matchup do you foresee in this championship game with Jackson State and Southern?
It's going to be a good one. Congratulations to both coaches and Jackson State, man. They're playing lights out with a lot of confidence. Their quarterback there is really good and really put them in good situations. He understands reading defenses and stuff, so it's going to be an explosive game, I think. Southern obviously have the explosive wide receivers, and I see it being a lot of points scored, and should be an exciting game.
Coach, how does the motivation for your team change, or does it change at all now that the SWAC championship has kind of been decided? How do you get you guys up for these last 2 games?
Yeah, that's always a the thing. Once you realize, okay, your chances are, are slim to none, or that you have no chance to play for a championship. But we got a really good group of kids here. I can say that they understand the whole one snap and clear mindset. One game and clear. And for us and for them, it's an opportunity to do something that they really love, and that's to play football. And they understand that we only have 2 games left, and an opportunity for probably the second or third year where they've only lost 2 games in the conference. So obviously, you try to find all those things that is still available to play for. I think our offense, there's a bunch of points scored in 1991. The guys are motivated to try and eclipse that. That was one of the goals that they had. So there are goals, there are things out there that we'll be able to motivate them and have them ready to play for.
Do you look at these last 2 games as potentially an opportunity to get some guys some time, or get a look at some younger guys that you had earlier in the season?
Yeah, I think, some of our younger kids, we know, they are going to be ready. I think at the cornerback position, we have 2 young guys that have been playing on special teams, and we want to see how these guys will compete, as starters. The guys that have been starting at the cornerback position just, kind of been really inconsistent. So, in one regard, it'll give us an opportunity to play some of these younger kids, but we want to win. We want to have an opportunity to win 7 games in the conference, which is good. So we'll play to win, though.
Who are those guys at those corner spots, if you don't mind mentioning?
T.J. Presley is one of them. Merles Gilbert is another young man that have not, he's been playing special teams, so we'll give both of those kids an opportunity to play.
Do we have any more questions for Reggie Barlow, head coach at Alabama State? All right, Coach, that's it. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
Tenfold.
Thanks a lot. That's Reggie Barlow, head football coach at Alabama State. Alabama State travels to Itta Bena, Mississippi to face Mississippi Valley State this Saturday for a 1 p.m. kickoff. Next up on the call, we move to Alcorn State. It's Jay Hobson. Alcorn State defeated Prairie View 50-35 last Thursday. And this week, Alcorn faces Jackson State for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Good morning, Coach Hobson. Are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about the victory Thursday and over Prairie View, and preview the rivalry with Jackson State this coming Saturday.
Well, Prairie View game was a hard-fought game. It was a game I thought offensively we played very well in the first half, especially. The defense, I thought, did a good job. We were able to intercept 5 balls, which was good and positive, and set the offense up at times with some good field position. Gave up a late score, which wasn't real pleased about. But, I thought on the whole, our guys, I was really kind of really proud of the guys because they bounced back after a tough loss at Alabama A&M and really played hard. And all in all phases, it was a really good game. This week we play Jackson State, which is, they're the East champs, a deserving team. We just got to be ready. It's a good football team, good game. We know they're an excellent football team, so we just got to be ready to play.
All right, the floor is now open for Jay Hobson, head coach at Alcorn State.
Coach, how impressed were you to come from a loss the week before, a short week, and to have a offensive output like you did against Prairie View?
I thought I was very proud of the guys. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, make a couple of field goals. We had first and goal on the 2 against Alabama A&M. With about a minute, 52 minutes to go. If we score any points, we're playing for a championship this week. So it was a tough loss, and to bounce back and to play the way they did, I was extremely proud.
A team that's known, for a high power offense. What were some of the things you believe, or what are some of the things that your defense did to neutralize that offensive attack? I
think the biggest thing they did was create turnovers. Defensively, like I said, we had 5 picks, which always, I think that's the key in today's football. You got to offensively, we get those opportunities to score, defensively create turnovers and get the ball back to the offense. And I thought we did a good job of taking advantage of some plays, and I thought we played with we played fast and we played aggressive. So I was like I said, I thought on all 3 phases I was really pleased. And again, I thought our first half last week offensively was excellent. So we just got to continue that and build on into this week.
Coach, what does a game like this mean to your players when you're playing in such a heated rival with Jackson State?
Well, it's always we're blessed to have 4 rivals. What I'm saying? We're kind of in that area with Jackson and Valley and Southern and Grambling. So we're kind of we're blessed to have a lot of natural rivalries in the surrounding area. So it's always a fun game. It's a game that. There should be a lot of excitement there, but it's a football game. We got to get ready and prepared to play.
Coach, you've seen some pretty good quarterbacks through the course of the year. One at Southern, of course, with Dre Joseph. You're facing another good one this Saturday, and then again they'll play each other in the championship game. Talk about the quarterback play between those 2 guys.
Well, just excellent quarterbacks. I've been I'm just very, very impressed with both of them. I think Clayton has done an outstanding job. He's the gun for Jackson. Done a great job directing the show, and he makes plays. Just does a tremendous job running their offense. So again, 2 very skilled quarterbacks that throw the ball well, make good decisions. So it should be interesting. It should be a fun game to watch.
Still got time to take questions for Jay Hobson, Alcorn State.
Hi, Coach. Roslyn Lau with the Clarion Ledger. I just wanted to ask, what do you think is going to be key to when you guys face Jackson State on Saturday? What do you think is going to be one of the biggest challenges for your team to grab a victory in Jackson?
We're just going to have to play good, solid, fundamental football and play hard. That's what it takes. It's every week, that's what we have to do, Mm-hmm.
Knowing you guys were still mathematically in the SWAC title race, I don't know, what's motivating your team to finish out the season strong?
Well, we just talk about playing hard every week. Each game's like a boxing match. You got a new opponent coming in, you got to get ready to play. So that's one thing that I love about these guys. We don't worry about all those scenarios. Jackson got exactly what they deserved, being conference champs, did a great job, and we got exactly, we didn't take advantage of the opportunities we had a couple weeks ago, so we get what we deserve. So at the end of the day, we don't worry about all that stuff. It's a new game. We got to get ready to play, and that's all football is about.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little about Arnold Walker? I mean, he's been outstanding for you guys this season. What do you think is going to take for him to kind of break through Jackson State rushing defense? What do you think it's going to take for him to go up against Jackson State's defense?
I don't know. I mean, I just think Arnold's going to play his game. He's going to, Arnold's going to come out and run hard, and we have never known him not to show up on Saturday ready to play. He's a true warrior, true soldier. I mean, he's going to come out and play hard, and they've got a great defense. They're going to play hard. I mean, it's just football. You just got to go play.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Coach, you yourself as a head coach and the turnaround that your team had in such a short time with you at the helm, is it a little disheartening that that you're in the run for possibly representing the East? If a win with Alabama A&M could have boiled down to this game, is just a tad bit disheartening?
Well, you never like losing those games, but again, Alabama A&M deserved to win that game. They created some turnovers. They had a goal line stand on the first. So to me, that's football. I've been through it for so long. And that's one thing that we don't even worry about. We went into Prairie View. We knew when we left the field 2 weeks ago with that. It would be. We had 2 games left, so it's not like it's a surprise to us, because we had a feeling that at least one of the 2, Alabama State or Jackson, was going to win last week, so that wasn't really an eye-opener. We weren't sitting there holding our breath on last Saturday, so we just knew we had 2 more games to play, and 2 big games, and it's just a game. It's a football game. We got to get ready to play, and we're blessed with another opportunity to play for a week, and that's what it's all about, and it should be a fun environment. It should be, a fair bit of people there, so it should be a good little game.
Coach Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting, can you briefly tell us what aspect of your team you're most satisfied with so far this season? And also, can you just name a couple of the key players, particularly the seniors, who've made a big difference for your team this year?
I'm really kind of, that I think we've, on both sides of the ball, I think there's, we've kind of been that team that one side's kind of picked the other side up throughout the season. I think we've been pretty good as a team, I thought last week we played really good on offense. I thought the week before we were pretty good on defense. I thought at Pine Bluff we were pretty good on defense. At Grambling we were good on offense and defense. We had some good games. And then you look at, it's been a game where we've been really kind of complimentary of each other, which has been good. And I think that's critical in team success. One side always kind of being able to pick the other up. And but I think the seniors that have been big, of course Arnold Walker, had an outstanding season. Jamison Knox, he's had a great year. You look at and some of our just clubhouse leaders like Terrence Green and Kenry Tolbert, guys that aren't, your so-called your marquee names at times, but they've done a great job being leaders. Philando War, it's been a Tavares Doss. All those guys have been major contributors, and we don't have our senior class. I think Ty's we only graduate 6 guys, so we don't really graduate a lot of people. We've got a small senior class, but all those guys have been very good leaders and hard workers, so we're gonna miss them.
Hey, Coach, you got to be excited going forward about what you put together and the prospects for the next year.
Well, Ty, we are, but just like everything else, it's everything's new. It's kind of like the last questions. It's a new week, it's a new game, and you really, to me, you have to stay in the moment of the next week and the next, and if you do that, you give yourself a chance. But we have to understand that we've got to continue to get better every week, and that's part of it, and if we don't, then we won't. But that's something we have to strive to do.
Have any more questions for Jay Hobson? Coach, thank you very much for your time, and we'll look forward to talking with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
That's Jay Hobson, head football coach at Alcorn State. They'll face Jackson State Saturday at 2 p.m. Next up on the call is Arkansas at Pine Bluff and the head coach, Monty Coleman. Coach Coleman and Arkansas at Pine Bluff defeated Grambling State by a final of 45-42 this past Saturday. Good morning, Coach Coleman. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about your victory over Grambling, if you will.
Well, it was definitely a hard-fought football game. Lots of points put on the board. Game that we absolutely needed, not for any race to get to the championship, but just for a morale standpoint. Grambling, I felt like, came in ready to play, and they played hard. It was a good football game, a very hard-fought football game. Coach Winston's got those guys playing extremely well over the last 3 weeks, and it was a great victory. We did some good things offensively to keep us in the football game. We gave up, from my standpoint, way too many points from a defensive standpoint. We continue to give up big plays, and we've got to try to find a way to stop giving up the big plays. But once again, I feel like Grambling was a good football team, good contest for us, and I'm just glad we were able to come out with the victory. We will travel to Alabama A&M this week to play them, and another game that we need to win.
All right, the floor is now open for Coach Monty Coleman at Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Coach, as I see, Michael Wilson had a few more carries than usual. Just talk about going to him a little bit more and then him being able to capitalize.
Actually, he played well. I think he finished with about 20, maybe 30 yards. Nothing spectacular, but he came in at a time where Jeremiah Young was a little questionable as far as his playing the rest of the game, and Mike came in and gave us the boost that we needed. And that's where we count on him. He's actually the only veteran running back that we have. The rest of the guys are freshmen. And Mike came in and gave us the boost that we needed. Like I said, it wasn't just an outstanding day as far as stats, but for what he contributed was outstanding because we needed some yards at the time that he came in, and he was able to pick up a couple, 2 first downs for us.
Right. What happened to Jeremiah exactly?
Nothing, just had a little boo-boo, and we just had to sit him out for a few plays, and through those few plays, that's when Mike got his opportunity.
Right. I saw Mims dressed out, and I could have sworn I saw him practice recently. We thought he was going to be out for the year after he hurt his knee against, I think it was Alcorn State. What's the status right now?
He has not been released from the doctors. He does have a torn ACL. The kid's got great pain tolerance. He did dress out because he was a senior. That was his last game here at Golden Line Stadium, but there was no way he was going to play because he has not been released from the doctors yet.
Right. Coach, you got 2 wins, against really good, teams that are better than their record, Valley and.
Oh, absolutely.
Sir.
No, I was saying you're right. That their records doesn't really indicate the type of football teams that they are. They are a lot better teams than what their records indicate.
But now you have a big challenge here, Alabama State, which is a little better. And you got right here, and both of these games are going to be on the road.
Let me correct you. I see that we're going to go to A&M.
A&M, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, Alabama A&M, and but so basically, what's the biggest key starting with A&M in these last 2 ball games?
Well, it's what we talk about each week when you come by and talk to me. I respect the coaching staff with Coach Jones there at A&M and their team. Very good football program, and I have been for a lot of years. I've won championships. But, I put most of my focus on what we do. And if we can come out and play football like we played the last 2 football games, at least we'll be in the game. And that's what we want to do. We want to come in and play hard and take away a lot of the mistakes. We had 1 turnover this last game, and that was just a great play by Grambling. And the thing that we want to do is just don't beat ourselves. So I worry about what we do more so than I worry about what A&M is going to do. And if we can come in with the right attitude and play hard like we've done the last 2 games, then it should be a good football game.
You really cleaned up the penalties from your last outing.
Sometimes you have to raise your voice. And I was really upset with the number of penalties that we received in the Valley game, and just had a long talk with the team. And the thing that we can't do is allow good football teams like we play week in and week out, second chances with personal fouls, offside penalties, or whatever. We've got to be a smart football team, and we did play. I think we had 3 penalties, I believe, in this last game.
Gotcha.
Still got time to take questions for Monty Coleman, Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Coach, talk about the play of your quarterback, obviously named co-offensive player of the week. Seems like you played pretty well this Saturday.
Actually, one of the best games been played. You know, he did a great job racking up all the stats, the rushing yards. I think he had almost 200 yards rushing, several yards passing. To almost a total of 600 yards total offense. I think definitely impressed with that, but he managed the offense according to the offensive game plan, and that's the thing that I was more pleased with. He didn't try to do anything supernatural. He stayed within the game plan that Coach Dooley had put in front of him, and that's the thing that in my coaches meeting this morning, our staff meeting, that Coach Dooley identified with Ben. So the thing that I was more impressed with was he stayed within the game plan. And congratulations to him for being SWAC Player of the Week.
Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Good morning.
Good morning. Coach, after those successive losses and now you put back-to-back wins, what is the common thread that you found with your team? Is it that they could close out at the end?
That's basically what it is, Ty. Right now, we are playing a little better. 2 things that we stress before each game and in practice: we've got to start fast, and then we've got to finish. In the last 2 ball games, we hadn't had the lulls like we've had in previous games, and because we were able to finish, we were able to get us 2 victories.
Also, Coach, when you say that you don't necessarily concern yourself with the other team, I do hear most of coaches say that. So in that case, when you play assignment football, you basically, no matter what the opposition does, you're saying if you run your schemes and if your players do what they're supposed to do, then you should come out on top.
Well, we're not. That's not a derogatory statement when we make that statement. We have confidence in our coaches. We have confidence in the things that we do, and instead of really spending a whole lot of time, which we do spend a lot of time scouting, breaking down film, getting tendencies and all of that on the opponents. It is what they do, but it's also what we do. It's a chess match. If we put together a game plan, if we can execute our game plan, then we should be in the ball game. It's when we don't execute ours, we give them the big plays. For instance, we play in cover 2, and we don't stay deep. They have the potential of throwing a deep ball against us for a big play. And anytime you give up a big play, it's not what they did necessarily, but it's sometimes what we do. Does that make any sense?
And yeah, it does, Coach. And as you wind down your season, Coach, can you point out to me a couple of young men who made a big difference for your team this year?
Actually, there are a couple that has to step in and play for us. Definitely Ben Anderson, our quarterback, who has led this team over the last 2 or 3 years, is playing real good. Jamie Smith, our freshman running back, is playing good. Knighton, our offensive guard, a freshman kid who was thrust in. We really wanted to redshirt him this year. He's playing good football for us. On the defensive side, Troy Goss is playing well for us. Jerine Harris, who's a veteran. He did sustain a leg injury in this game, wasn't able to finish it, but he's played well for us along with Xavier Lofton. So there's been several guys that have stepped up when we needed them to step up, and it's going well.
And finally, Coach, for those guys looking to try to get a shot at the next level, do you point to the example that Terrell Armstead set for them?
Well, the thing that I tell my guys is this: that every time you step on the field is an audition. You actually make the professional level before you get to the pros. What you want is you want them calling you. So you're writing your resume every play, and your resume is going to spell out either they're going to contact you or they won't contact you. So, of course, we do everything that we can possibly do extra to help them get to the league if that's their desire. But every time they step on the field, it's their audition to make it to the league. You don't make it to the league when you get to the league. You actually make it now during your playing days. And that's what we try to stress to the guys is write a great resume that is no question that after your senior season or before, that they're making phone calls trying to get you to come play for them.
Coach Coleman, we appreciate your time. Look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. That's Monty Coleman, Arkansas Pine Bluff head football coach. They'll face Alabama A&M for a 1 p.m. kick this coming Saturday. Next up on the call now, we migrate to Grambling State and talk things over with interim head coach Dennis Winston. Grambling, of course, fell short by 3 to Arkansas Pine Bluff this past Saturday. And now we're joined by Coach Winston. Good morning. Are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about the 3-point loss to Pine Bluff and preview this coming week.
Well, I'm going to tell you it was a disappointing loss to Pine Bluff. I thought our kids went in there with the attitude that, they were going to play well and come out victoriously. But, we fell short. We had, one TD dropped in the end zone. We had 2 extra points blocked, and we had 1 miss. And we also had, we had 1 touchdown drop. So, in the end zone, it's kind of frustrating. But I thought the kids played hard, and they fell a little short.
All right, the floor is now open for Coach Winston at Grambling State.
Good morning, Coach. Sean Isabella with the News Star.
Good morning.
You just talk about Jonathan's performance, and obviously him getting the start over DJ. Is DJ still kind of banged up from that concussion, or what?
Well, we still kind of want to bring DJ along, slower because of the fact that we don't want any other symptoms coming about, and he did go in the game. He threw the 2-point conversion for us. But we kind of want to bring him slow. We don't want to rush him back. Jonathan is playing well. I mean, really well right now, and his confidence is just growing more and more.
How do you think some of the team is kind of playing off his confidence and him coming in this past week and then the week before, just coming in and being able to produce so much on the field?
Well, I'll tell you what, the team has rallied behind him. We want to make sure that Jonathan knows that everybody's behind him. He's a little field general out there, and he can do a lot of things, and we just do the things that he can do best.
Was it kind of disappointing? I know you did say it was disappointing, but it's kind of just a story of the year almost that, you do get so close and come up short again. I know you did get the win 2 weeks ago, but just kind of sum up what this season has been like and just kind of the ups and downs and being so close in a lot of games and falling short.
Well, it's always hard losing, but, I think each game teaches you a lesson, and each season teaches you a lesson. We had a great feeling last week. This week we had the same feeling, and that's the feeling we don't want again. I think that this season has been a season of history, and the kids, they know basically that, hey, we got to get things turned around again, and so I think we'll do that this game.
Is this loss tougher to swallow now that you have, several weeks before the Bayou Classic to kind of have it sink in before you get to actually play again?
Well, our plan is to win every weekend. We went into the game with a lot of confidence. The kids went in with a lot of confidence, and we just fell a little short. And we really thought we should have got that one, but hey, Pine Bluff came through with the things that they need to do. They blocked the extra points. They caused some turnovers. Ben ran for over 200 yards. We had a plan for him to stop him. And tell you what, he's an excellent quarterback, and he's only going to get better and better.
How much do you think y'all are looking forward to that Bayou Classic game at the end of the month?
We always look forward to playing the Bayou Classic. It's, that's one of the things of the bragging rights in the state of Louisiana and national bragging rights. So it'll be a game that's going to be a little more physical than the game we just played this past week. This past week was a physical game. We went into that game against Pine Bluff, and it was physical on both sides. A lot of points were scored, but a lot of people, got to understand that, this day and age, offenses are going to score because of the way things have changed in the game. But the game against Southern is going to be a totally different mindset. Both teams will probably come in, very excited, and we're going to go in there and we're going to play. I'll put it this way: we'll play better than we played this past week.
What makes you think that, though? I mean, because this is the second game. The Texas Southern game. You've even said it. You thought you should have won, and then obviously this game against Pine Bluff, y'all had some chances to win. So, I mean, what makes you confident that y'all can put that behind you and be able to fix games like you did against Mississippi Valley State?
Well, I'll put it this way: we're going to fix some things that went bad in Pine Bluff game. We fixed some things from the game against Mississippi Valley, but we had some breakdowns in some other spots, and so, what we're going to do, we're going to fix those things that we had that broke down this week, and get those really taken care of, and I think then everything will be okay.
And just going forward with the future, you've been on record saying you like to play a lot of guys, and most of those guys that have been stepping up have been freshmen. Some of your running backs are young, and your two wide receivers, Chad Williams, Raylan Hunter. If anything, the season, even if you only finish with one loss, is it kind of just a good thing to know that you do have so many young pieces going forward, especially with Jonathan Williams only being a junior as well?
Well, we have a lot of things going for us. We play a lot of people, but a lot of the people that we're playing are basically walk-on guys that they're not scholarship guys. They're here, and I think when you get scholarship guys added with those guys that are walk-on guys, you're going to have a better team.
Last thing, you have any idea who's going to start against Southern?
Right now, we'll see during the week. We go by the week, how each quarterback does in the practicing during that week, and what we do, we sit down as coaches and we make that decision practically almost right before probably that Thursday.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, what are some of the things that Jonathan possess in contrast to DJ, or what are some of the things that he does in terms of moving the offense that DJ may not have, or vice versa?
Well, DJ can do a lot of things. DJ could be a wide receiver. He could be quarterback. He could be a tight end. People don't realize he's 6'5", and he's about 215 pounds. And he got a rocket of an arm. So he does a few things different than Jonathan. Jonathan is smaller, a little more mobile, a little quicker, DJ can move around in the pocket. Jonathan can move around the pocket. We can do a lot of things with both of those guys, and we plan on doing that. And we're gonna have something different because those two guys can play. They can play numerous positions. They can do a lot of different things, and people are gonna have to prepare. In such a way that they don't know who's going to be in the game.
Have you thought about, or your offensive staff thought about playing both of them at the same time, maybe some kind of a wildcat, or using Williams as a scat back, or moving DJ to receiver since he does have experience from the high school level playing wide receiver?
Well, yeah. Right now we just trying to make sure we know who's going to be our quarterback. Both of those guys compete. And they're best friends. They compete in practice. Like there's no tomorrow, and we like what we see in practice, and from there, we make our decision on them and it's always a hard decision.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we look forward to talking with you next week, which will be our last call of the season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. That's interim coach at Grambling State, Dennis Winston. Next up on the call is Jackson State and Rick Comagee.
Yes, I'm here.
Coach Comagee and Jackson State defeated Alabama A&M 26-20. This week they'll play host to Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach Comagee. Are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. If you could talk about the victory over Alabama A&M and preview your rivalry this Saturday.
Well, it was a type of game like I thought it would be. Coach, I call him Coach does a fantastic job. Coach Jones does a fantastic job, and I knew that it was going to be a rough, hard game, a game that we'd have to go in and get by any way possible, and and they gave us everything that we expected. The defense is extremely tough. They just do a fantastic job. He mixed it up offensively really well, I felt, and I meant to tell him that on the way over. I thought he did a fantastic job of mixing things up offensively, and and their defense, played extremely well. They're just a very aggressive football team, and I'm very thankful that we were able to go out there and eke it out and get it because we made a lot of mistakes, but it wasn't because we made a lot of mistakes that it was so tight. They just played good football, and we seemed to be a little bit rusty early, and we dropping the football from under center and and different things of that nature. I felt that we were outplayed in some areas of special teams. I just thankful we hung in there, and they were driving down, and their field goal kicker missed a field goal and allowed us to kind of stay within reach, and we had to go in and try to reorganize and battle our way back to get back into the game, and the kids fought desperately to get back into the game, and eventually once we tied it up, we were able to kind of edge it out. They came back, I think, in the fourth and scored a long one, which it was down to 6 points now in the game. Now it's back to sweating time, and they go for. I think they kicked an onside kick, and we recovered it and was able to bail out, and run that clock out and get on out of there, and with a win. But he's got himself a football team down there, and they're doing a fantastic job. And game coming up this week, it's going to be I look and see what Coach. I just caught a minute before coming out to the phone here, and he's doing his offense is understanding what he's expecting, and the defense is understanding what they expect, and and he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, unlike last year where he was new and putting in a system, the system is definitely in, and he's scoring points, and he's got a good football team down there, and we know that we're going to have to strap up in order to beat a team of that caliber, and we just have to get ready this week. We got to play better football than we did a week ago, and we got to concentrate and focus merely on them. And that's where we have to be in order to beat a football team like that. If we focus anything else, we focus down the road, we focus, when we go to the left or go to the right, we're going to lose. We're going to have to stay on the path of, who they are, and what they're all about, and try to get in there and stay focused to get this win. And so we want to win, and, we're going to do our best to try to win this game.
What does it mean to be back in the championship game?
Sir?
What does it mean to be back in the championship game?
Well, it means a lot. It's gratifying. It's something that you start out in August, and everybody say, when being a champion, the route, and you never know if it's going to come true or not until it actually happens. Going down there to A&M, I'm sure some of the guys knew what the game was all about, but yet and still, I don't think we looked past them. I'm not sure if that week off helped us or hurt us, because I thought we played real sloppy, but yet and still it wasn't a sloppy play. I think they may have made us play sloppy, and so, I'm looking at both ways on that, and so, it means a lot. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. I thank God, for this opportunity, but right now I can't think of anything else but the team facing us right now, but it is a great honor, and it's to represent, and it's I take it as a great honor. Believe me, I'm very humble about it. Although I know this game is a very physical game, and you can lose some kids in the game before you even get there, and I just want I want our players to go out, with a good feeling that they have accomplished something. If I can do anything else, it's a feeling of accomplishment and what they can do if they give everything they got. And, even in the work market out there, you got to give it your all in order to be successful. And I'm hoping to, give them an on and off the field lesson.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach Roslyn Law with the Clarion Ledger.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Good. Well, it's kind of been the story as it's kind of been all season for you guys to start off slow and then make a comeback in the second half. I know you said after the game that it doesn't matter as long as you guys win. What do you think about, kind of how are you going to try to get your guys to start out a little quicker? It seems like you're always coming out of the second half.
I think it may have sounded like, like that, but I'm really hoping that we do get off to a faster start than what we did. But if that's what it takes to, if that's how it happens, that's how it happens, because I believe that you got to win football games. The W, I know a lot of people say, well, it's a character, the kids on how they win and all that. But in today's world, if this is the way we're winning, then if that's how we have to win, and that's, the last few games, then fine. But what coach in America wouldn't want to start off out the chute 40-0 in the first quarter and kind of play everybody? I would love to do that, but it just hadn't happened for us yet. I know one day it will. I know one day we'll come out of the chutes and play the type of football that, I would love to see played. But, if this is the way it's happening, then we must have somebody's for us upstairs, and so I'll take it. I'm not going to look at it as being dismal, because we have come out on the right side. But I know when we get to practice that we work on it, and we're trying to hope that one time when we come out that we can come out of the chutes in a real fast and beat a team so that we can play some of the guys that we have itching to play.
Does it say something about your team's IQ or just their ability to come out of the second half with adjusting and reading the defense and the offense and just coming out adjusting really solidly? Does it say a lot about the IQ of your team?
I don't know if that's if IQ is the point. I think there's a group of guys who have that inner will to win. More than they know what situation they're in. Once they get into that situation, they know they have to now turn it up in the gear. But I don't think that they want to do it that way. I just think that it just happens that way. We didn't expect for things to happen the way it did in the first half of the A&M game, but it just happened that way. We thought we had a good game plan going in that, and that we could do some things. We made some adjustments defensively. We thought our adjustments would be fine, but they didn't work. And so, as I say, we always have to go back to the floor a lot of times of what we've put in from an offensive defense standpoint of view, and just go back to what we do best, and not make so many adjustments. Sometimes I think sometimes we outcoach ourselves as coaches, and sometimes we try to make too many adjustments, and it turns out hurting us instead of going in what we came into camp putting in. And I'm going to look into that a little bit, as we move on this week, and see if maybe we're maybe doing too much and kids can't play fast, So, and that's what everybody wants. And you come out of camp playing fast, and all of a sudden you start becoming a genius as the year goes on. And so, we want to just be able to play good, solid, hard-nosed football, Lombardi type football, and even if we got to keep it very simple and bland, you can win that way too. And so I don't know. One thing I do know is that the kids have a strong will to win.
Mm-hmm. And John McNabb started over Cameron Loffer. Can you just talk about the condition of Cameron Loffer and also how John McNabb adjusted at the book role?
Well, he did a good job for us, because he's normally a rover linebacker. We have adjustable type guys that can play different spots, and McNabb's a little bit bigger to put back at that safety, but he did a fine job for us. And right now Loffer will be back this week, so we really miss him in the lineup. He makes a lot of tackles for us and does a fine job, but I wanted to make sure that we had him down the stretch rather than, playing another game and they're telling us this week that he couldn't play. And so we need him in the lineup, and so we gave him a rest last week and tried to get away with McNabb, back in that secondary, playing a little bit of secondary for us.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
That's Rick Comedy, head coach of Jackson State. They'll play host to Alcorn at 2 p.m. this coming Saturday. Next up on the call, we head to Mississippi Valley State and talk things over with Carl Morgan. Mississippi Valley defeated Texas Southern by a final score of 20-17. This week, Mississippi Valley plays host to Alabama State. Good morning, Coach Morgan. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about your victory over Texas Southern and preview the Hornets.
Good win. All wins are good, and especially when you haven't won many. I was really proud of the players, the coaches. It was a game that was tightly contested. We were fortunate to get out early with an opening kickoff return by Julian Stafford to put us up, and we kind of hung on from there. And we actually stopped them on the last drive of the game. They were driving to tie the game or to possibly win the game, so I thought it was a real good character win for us, because it would have been easy, given the year we've had, to fold and just kind of say, well, it's close, we can't get it. But everybody fought, hung in, and we did just enough to win, which was very big. We faced Alabama State this week, arguably the most talented team in the conference. They always have a lot of real good football players, transfers, and guys they've recruited, but a big physical team and an aggressive defense. So our work is cut out for us.
All right, the floor is now open for Carl Morgan, Mississippi Valley State head coach.
Coach, last week you talked about finally trying to put all facets of the game together, offense, defense, special team. Was this the kind of game you were talking about?
It was probably the closest one. I think we played better defensively than we have in the last 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we scored 40 points. 40 points ought to be enough to win. We didn't win because we gave up 47. So giving up 17 was a dramatic reduction, and it gave us a chance to win. Like I said, special teams helped because of the opening kickoff. It put us up front, and we played from a lead all the way. And then we had a 60-something yard pass to Julian Stafford for a touchdown. So I said everybody contributed to the win, and like I said, we did just enough. You know, we didn't score. I don't think we scored in the second half, but we had a time-consuming drive right before their last drive that took time off the clock, And when they got the ball back, they basically had a minute and 30 or something to go down the field to score. So so we did enough to win, and the bottom line is winning. And hopefully we can finish this upcoming Saturday on a very positive note. It's going to be a big challenge. I think they're very talented, very good, and they do a great job over at Alabama State.
Still taking questions for Mississippi Valley State head coach Carl Morgan.
Coach, again, with Patrick Ivey, consecutive weeks with his performances, have you now feel, in the preseason and last year, you always talked about finding that quarterback or having that consistent quarterback play. Have you felt now that you found that piece of the puzzle in your offense?
Hopefully, this is like the second or third week he's been able to make a game and complete the whole game. And I think the more he plays, the better he'll get. And he's got one game left, and then you get a spring under him. I think he'll be a vastly improved quarterback next fall. So that's a plus. Hopefully we can keep him healthy this last game and get him off into a good off season of conditioning, of throwing and learning, and we'll be much better in that position starting out next year.
So talk about the player Julian Stafford. Made some great catches, of course, and on special team he was pretty phenomenal too.
Yeah, he does a good job for us when we get the ball to him and get the ball in his hands. Opening kickoff, we had some good blocking. He did some good navigating on the return, got to the sideline and outran the rest of the team. And then on the long touchdown pass, he caught a pass over the middle and kind of split the defense. So he's our most talented offensive player, arguably our most talented player on the team. And like I said, we've been trying, and when we do get the ball to him, good things happen.
Coach Morgan, last year you guys were able to have a lot of success running the ball against ASU. You guys played that Thursday night game against them. This year they brought in Kevin Ramsey and has had the best run defense against in the league. Do you try to throw on them more, or how do you go about attacking them offensively?
We've had trouble running the ball on anybody this year. It's been a difficult task for us to run football. We're not very big up front. Our offensive line features a couple of linemen who are basically 250 and below, 250 pounds and below. So it's hard for us to run the ball. And I know Coach Ramsey is an aggressive defensive signal caller. So we've got to be real creative if we're going to run the football at all. I know we can't pass it every down, and so we've got to find ways to run the football. I don't know what all that's going to be about. But I know we got our work cut out against a team that has talent and has a proven defensive coordinator.
Coach, speak a little bit about the chemistry now between Ivey and Stafford. It really still seems like it's connecting as you close out the season.
Yeah, and I think it's a process. Patrick has missed I don't know how many games, probably 3 or 4 games. Because of various injuries, still is not 100%. Because the Patrick Ivey that ran for 80-something yards on a single play against Florida A&M hasn't reappeared since then. He's had a chronic leg injury that's hampered him. But I think the more he's there, the more they work together, the better chemistry, the better feel they get for one another. I think. That'll pay big dividends down the road for us. Like I said, both of those guys are coming back next year. So I'm excited about what they've done so far and what they can do.
You have a lot of teams in the league, and I know last year your identity was defense. Some teams may have a high-power offense in order for them to win and not as strong of a defense, and vice versa. You feel like your team this year, you have to have all those components in place, defense, offense, and special teams in order to pull out a win?
Yeah, we haven't played that well defensively this year. I think we played some games, and we hit this 3-game stretch where we're giving up like 35.8 points a game. And I think that we haven't been real consistent offensively. So, and that's partly due because of the turnover and the amount of players we're playing this year that weren't here last year. I think that we're making strides. For us to come back and hold somebody to 17 points after giving up 47, I thought that was a very positive deal. For us to score on a return, I think that was our first score for a return this year. And to get better quarterback play toward the end of the year, all of these things are promising. I think with some added pieces to the puzzle, I think we could get back to where we ended last year, and that's been the disappointing thing. We got to 5 and 6, and we were moving up the hill, and the roller coaster came back down a little bit this year, and so that was somewhat to be expected, but I didn't think it would be a 2-win season. So hopefully with some increased recruiting, some added recruiting, we could get this thing going back in the right direction.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you. Take care.
That's Mississippi Valley State head football coach Carl Morgan. They'll play host to Alabama State at 1 p.m. Next on the call is Prairie View head football coach Heish Northern. Prairie View suffered a loss to Alcorn State this past Thursday. Good morning, Coach. Heish Northern, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Good morning, Coach. If you could talk about your battle with Alcorn this past Thursday.
One of those back and forth type of games. We didn't get off to a particularly good start. They ran the opening kickoff back down to the 12-yard line. 2 plays later, they scored. And that wasn't a good start for us. We knew they were coming off a short week, emotional loss. We thought if we got off to a real good start, that would, somewhat take the energy out of them. And unfortunately, we didn't do that. We did come back and take the lead. And next thing you know, the interception bug bit us all over the place. I think we had, 5 interceptions throughout the whole game. 1 was a return for a touchdown. And we thought we would have, as a head coach, I thought we would have some problems passing the ball because, number one, they had an outstanding secondary, and because of the weather situation, we didn't get outside, and a lot of our passings based off spacing and reading 2 and 3 and all that type of stuff. We just didn't do a good job of managing space. I think of the 5 interceptions, 4 of them were tip balls with a misunderstanding between the quarterback and the receiver. So we'll get that cleaned up. And, we just got outplayed really in every phase. Their punter did an excellent job. I think we had 4 drives of 80-something, 90 yards to score touchdowns, but that was because their punter did a good job of pinning us back. And their defense made some plays, and unfortunately for us, we didn't make enough. And we'll get back to the drawing board and play better this week than we did last week. We come back home for the 3rd time this season. We have Abilene Christian coming in who, they throw the ball all over the place and, have a pretty aggressive style of defense. So we'll have to, make sure we, buckle down on our assignments and understand what they're trying to do and come out and play a good ball game. And I told our guys, we're out of the conference race, but we still have some things ahead of us. We have a chance to end the season with a winning record. We have a chance to go undefeated at home. We have a chance to finish our non-conference play with a winning record. So that's something that we want to do and try to accomplish. So we still have a lot of things left in front of us. Unfortunately, we won't be one of the 2 teams playing in Houston. But, we let some games get away from us, and we just got to get back to the drawing board and work hard, just like we would if we still had a chance to go to Houston and play for the championship.
Floor is now open for Prairie View head football coach Heish Northern.
Coach, did you talk to your players prior to the game and going into the game about the possibility of still coming out the West if you guys went out and Southern would have encountered 2 losses?
Not really. You talk about it lightly, but it's not something that we try to harp on because, we tell them, every game is independent of one another, so you can't worry about what someone else is doing. And, we told them before the biggest regret we were going to have is we would have chances to win some games, and Southern would drop a game, but we didn't. We wouldn't take care of our own business. That was the biggest regret that we were going to have, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened to us. Going back to the Jackson State game or going back to the Alabama State game, like I tell the guys, we can't keep saying we're a good team if we keep losing to other good teams. And so far right now, I don't think we've beaten a team with a winning record in conference play. And that's something that we have to change. So, we got to coach better, we got to play better, and do those types of things so we can say that, hey, we are one of the better teams in the conference. But you can't say that when you drop a game to all of the good teams in the conference, whether or not it's in overtime or in regulation. We just have to do a better job. We got to get better players. We have to coach better, and we have to win those games. And that's what I'm charged to do.
Still taking questions for Heights Northern head coach at Prairie View. Coach, talk about getting you guys ready for Abilene Christian. Of course, you're out of conference play this week.
Well, like I say, they're going to throw the ball over the place. Pretty much a spread offense. They have some very outstanding players. They're in the transition from Division II to FCS, so they'll have some guys that are playing over there that naturally couldn't get in some of our schools. But at the end of the day, we have to go out there and like we talk to our guys about. A lot of times, winning football is not beating yourself. And, we have to make sure that that's our first priority, and then you play to win. You don't play not to lose, and that's what we're going to do. So, we're going to have our guys prepared and ready to play, and hopefully we'll make a few more plays in all phases of the game, whether it's special teams, offense, or defense, and represent the conference in the right way. Like I said, one of the things my president talked to me about during the off season was, we want to have a better showing in our non-conference play. And like I say, we'll have a chance to have a winning record. If we win this football game, we'll be 2-3 versus non-conference and 2 Southland Conference teams that we directly recruit against. So that'll be big for us, if we do win this game. So we're going to get prepared and we're going to play to win.
Do we have any more questions for Coach Heights Northern?
Coach, you talked about, calling yourselves good teams, and of course you had to, you guys weren't able to beat some of the good teams. What do you think as far as any facet of your team, whether it's offense or defense or special teams, do you feel like you're lacking in some areas?
Well, if you look at it,
rather in a specific area.
Yeah, I think we have to. If you look at it, we lost 8 defensive linemen off our team from last year. And if you look at, we coming off some APR sanctions, most of the kids that we lost to APR issues were defensive linemen. So if you look at us right now, we've always traditionally had a smaller defense than most of the teams in the conference, but we've been pretty good on defense, prior to the last couple of years. So we definitely have to upgrade from nothing against our guys, but we have to upgrade from a talent standpoint up front. If you look at when we've played Alabama State, Southern, Jackson State, Alcorn, we've played 4 games, and I think we may have 2 sacks in all of those games and no holding penalties. And that's not saying it's bad officiating, but I think when you have good players up front, you get more holding calls. So we have to do that. We have to upgrade our talent level. It's no secret that we have to be able to get pressure with 3 and 4 guys, just like some of the other teams are able to do against us. So that would be the most glaring thing that I would say we have to upgrade up front, be it from a talent standpoint. We've traditionally been able to move guys from a wide receiver or a linebacker and put on a defensive line, and they turn out to be good football players. We've got to find some kids, be the junior college or transfer ranks that can come in and give us immediate help, or you'll never get a chance to see how good, our secondary is or how good our linebackers truly are. So that's the most glaring need or area that I think we have to upgrade so we can beat some of the better teams in our conference and in our non-conference play.
Coach Northern, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot. That's Coach Northern, head football coach at Prairie View A&M. They'll play host to Abilene Christian at 1 p.m. this coming Saturday. Next up on the call is Southern University head football coach Dawson Odoms. A victory over Alabama State clinch their share of the title, and they'll head to Houston for the SWAC football championship. First this week, they will play host to Clark Atlanta, however, after defeating Alabama State by a score of 31-28. Coach Odoms, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could, preview your victory over Alabama State on the road and talk about hosting Clark Atlanta out of conference this week.
So the good thing about going to Alabama, we knew we was going to have to play well in all phases of the game. They're a very good football team. Coach Barlow has a talented football team up there, and they pose some problems. So we knew it would be a great football game. Started out, we got down early, 21-7. But, that's the good thing about our football team, man. We're never out of football games. I think they believe long as time's on the clock, we got a chance to win it. And, we ended up making a great return right before halftime. Virgil Williams was able to make a spectacular return to get us in position to try to get some more points. We ended up at halftime down 21-14. Yeah, I think both defenses probably played an outstanding third quarter, shutting both offenses out. And then in the fourth quarter, we did an outstanding job offensively and special teams getting ourselves in position to take the lead. We did a pretty good job of trying to keep their running backs, holding them in check because they have two very good running backs. The quarterback was able to scramble for some yards, but we found ourselves down, right there going into the fourth quarter. But we were able to take the lead, went up 28-21. Then Crowell got loose on us and was able to tie the game up. And then next thing you know, they kicked off to us. About a minute or something to go in the fourth quarter, and Jaleel Richardson had a huge return for us that put us on about the 28-yard line. And Greg Pittman was able to come in and kick the game-winning field goal for us, a 44-yarder, and we ended up hitting them and causing a fumble at the end. But it's like all our games have been this year, exciting football games that come down to the wire. I'm just happy that our guys were able to get that signature win against a winning football team on the East, so it was definitely great for our program. We played Clark Atlanta this week, football team that's going to run an offense that we haven't seen a whole lot of, a wing tee-based offense. So, our guys got to be disciplined in what we're doing. It's basically going to just come down to execution, alignment, and assignment. I really think if we do those things, we ought to be feeling pretty good about playing this football game and coming out victorious if we execute.
Floor is now open for Southern University head coach Dawson Odoms.
Coach, any concerns of your running game closing out the season and going into the championship game to allow Joseph and Dawson and allow you to have that kind of spread offense? Is there any concerns after looking at last week's performance?
Well, no, I just think you got to pick your poison when you play against us. I think our wide receivers are going to draw all the attention, but unfortunately, you can't double everybody. And every week somebody's going to step up and make a play, and you're starting to see that. So we can spread the ball around, and we can throw it sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone with the best of them. And I think Dre Joseph had his best game, and he found some more weapons. So I think as people begin to do some things to take the pass away, it's going to open up the running game.
Just to move away from SWAC play, and I think, excuse me if I'm wrong, Coach, I believe you have some ties to Clark Atlanta. from what I remember, he really didn't get an opportunity to take full control of that team. Just talk about a little bit about going up against a program that you had the opportunity to lead, but administration really from outside looking in really never gave you a full opportunity to take that the program to the next level.
Well, I was an interim coach there, and I was blessed with the opportunity to be their head coach. But I parted ways, because I believe things got to be done a certain way in order for you to be successful in this business of football, especially as a head coach. And everybody got to be on the same page. And I didn't feel like that when I was at Clark Atlanta, so I chose to depart and go somewhere else. But the good thing about it is, it's a great institution. Academics is second to none. They're right there in the city of Atlanta, and I don't know anybody up there, so it'd be like playing against a team that we really don't know nothing about. We got to get our guys ready to play, and I'm quite sure they'll be ready to play. With the senior day here, it's our last seniors opportunity to play at A.W. Mumford Stadium, and a win to guarantee them a winning season. So we'll be excited about that.
Coach, can you talk a little more about the seniors? Because it doesn't look like you could have scripted it any better. They're coming back for their last home game with the chance to get a winning record, and they've already clinched the West, and it's almost like there's an awful lot to celebrate as they go into their last home game.
Well, I'm happy for them because, they've endured a lot here. None of these guys have ever had a winning season. And it's just great to see these guys come together. It's great to see our football team come together. And, I just think it's a blessing, man. We're taking some of the same guys that I went 4-5 with last year, and now we're in a position to do some even better things this year. We're grateful for the opportunity, but we're grateful for where we are. We understand, how hard it is to win football games, but, we understand that it's all about everybody playing together, and I'm just excited for the senior class to have an opportunity to go out as winners.
Do we have any more questions for Dawson Odom, Southern University?
Coach, was Lee Dawson's suspension just for that one game?
Yes, sir. He'll be back. We got a team meeting today at 3:20. He was at weights this morning, so we expect him to be on regular schedule.
Coach, as far as emotions in your first year without the interim tag, can you share with us your thoughts on making the championship, first year full-fledged head coach at Southern University?
I think it's a great accomplishment for our entire institution and our athletic administration and our football program. That's what I'm trying to create around here. I don't want to be a football team. I don't want to work where they just want a football team. I want to be part of a program, and this is just another step in becoming that. I think that, if you want to be consistent in winning and consistent at being at the top, then you got to implement some things that's going to create a program. And that's what I want to be a part of. I've been part of it at some other institutions, and it's great for the young men to come in and be part of a program because when they leave programs, they want to give back. When they leave football teams, they don't want to give back. So it's a big difference in the two, and that's what we're trying to create here. And I'm excited for the individuals. I'm excited for our assistant coaches, but I'm excited for our institution because our fans deserve it.
Coach, I know every coach wants to make it to a championship. That's always the goal. But realistically, did you really feel that this was a team that was a championship contender, championship caliber team from spring onto the preseason? What were some of the factors that led you to believe that this team could really make it to the SWAC championship?
Well, believe it or not, that's not what we talk about around here. That's not a goal that we talk about. We talk about doing the little things, man. We're talking about you being the best that you can be on every play. You play the next play. You stay positive. We probably one of the only teams that don't talk about winning. We just talk about doing those little things. And if you do those, everything else will take care of itself. I'm excited for these guys for buying into that philosophy. Don't look at the scoreboard. Play the next play. This is a process that we have established now here, and you're starting to see it unfold right before your eyes. It's a unique process, and when we're done, you'll see a program being built.
Coach, we appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank y'all for having me. Have a blessed day.
Thanks a lot. That's Dawson Odoms, head coach at Southern University, and this week they'll play host to Clark Atlanta for a 6 p.m. kickoff. Next up on the call is Daryl Asbury, head coach at Texas Southern. Texas Southern fell short by just 3 points to Mississippi Valley, 20-17. And this week, TSU will play host to Howard University for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Coach, if you will, talk about the game with Mississippi Valley and preview Howard.
Well, again, I thought the kids, we fell short to a tough loss. Once again, our kids are playing hard, playing well. We just need to learn how to finish and how to win. We dropped a touchdown early in the game, and then we allowed them to run a kickoff back early in the game. And, I thought it was a good matchup for us. And, I take my hats off to coach and his program. They're playing hard. And, we're just going to move on. We're a young football team. The best is yet to come with this ball club. And, we look forward to Howard coming in, a MEAC school, and trying to, get us a win and compete at a high level in our home stadium.
All right, the floor is now open for Daryl Asbury, head football coach at Texas Southern.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Ty?
I'm good. Coach, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at Greg McGee of Howard yet. He had a record-setting game this past week against Savannah State. What are your thoughts on him? He's a dual-threat quarterback.
Well, I have not had really a chance to look at any film because they do not want to exchange film with us. And a lot of times when that happens, they've found some buddies that are at some SWAC schools. I know one of the coaches is over at Southern. I don't know. They usually get film on you. But I've been, I looked at his numbers. He did have a great day, and we're going to do things, that defensively that we feel that our kids can do, to kind of disrupt them a little bit. And as long as we play sound football defensively, I think we'll be okay.
Coach, with this game coming this late in the season, it's not a conference game, but one of those SWAC MEAC type games. What are the main benefits of it happening this late?
Well, for us, I'm very, like I've told my staff, I'm very motivated because, you talk about the SWAC MEAC challenges. We don't want a MEAC school to come over here and think that they can just come in and jump all over a SWAC school. So, we're very, very motivated for this game to happen.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, so in saying that, you feel, that for this week that your team's not just representing Texas Southern or the city of Houston, that your players will be representing the likes of the players from Valley, Alabama A&M, and those that have competed against the MEAC teams in recent years. The last time a SWAC school defeated a MEAC school was back in 2010 when Southern defeated, I believe it was Delaware State in the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Correct. I do feel like that. I do feel that this is about the whole SWAC, not just representing, Texas Southern. So, we look forward to a good matchup with these guys, an exciting matchup, and we hope that our kids show up and ready to play. We're winding down the season, and a victory like this, we can move over for spring ball and recruiting and get ready to go ahead and for another another season on next season.
What's the status on Homer Causey?
He's fine. Homer will start. He's available and he will be ready to go. So he is fine.
Looking at the numbers in terms of, I believe it was 8 sacks you gave up. Was more or less defensive schemes that you didn't see during film, or miscommunication on the line?
I think it was just some miscommunication, and then you got to look at we're a young football team up front. All those guys will return next year. We're playing 2 17, 18-year-old kids up front, so we'll be okay next season. And those guys are getting good quality work here, and that's the main thing. They're getting good quality work. I'm very pleased with the progress with the ball club.
Do you have any more questions for Darryl Asbury, head coach at Texas Southern?
Will Porter and Perkins Loving just be good to go for Saturday? I noticed that 1 week you'll have Perkins Loving getting most of the carries, and then Davion getting a lot of the carries. Will you be able to utilize both of them going into the matchup with Howard?
Well, we're hoping that Porter will be healthy. He was a little banged up. He suffered an injury against Southern, and we're hoping that we can get him going this week. But we had the likes of Peoples showed up on the scene and came in and carried the ball extremely well for us. And Perkins Loving will be he is healthy and ready to go. So we have a. And then we threw the football around pretty good. So, we plan to do a lot of things. The last game of the season, at least we can just try to continue to try to develop some of these young guys and look forward to next season.
What about Bloom on the defensive side? I noticed that he missed, I believe it was the last two.
Yeah, Bloom is down. Bloom is he's probably done for the season. He was leading the conference in sacks, so he'll probably be down for the rest of the season. I won't officially know that until today.
And how hard is that for your defense?
Well, it's extremely hard when you lose your sack leader. He worked so hard during the off season, prepared himself during the off season. He picked up about 20 pounds, and the young man came back and did extremely well. But the reward is that the hard work that he put in during the off season, we saw it not only in the classroom but on the field. It paid off for him, and he just had a freak accident. So, the positive thing is we have him for 2 more years.